Hello YouTube, and welcome to another wild camping adventure. If you're a regular viewer to the channel, welcome back, and if you're a new viewer to the channel, welcome to A Cumbrian Lad Outdoors. Today I am down in Yorkshire, and as you can see, we've got some snow. Storm Burt is due to come in the early hours of the morning. Overnight it's going to be -5, and then 5 to 6 in the morning the rain and the wind is coming in, which has the potential to turn into some heavy snow. So tonight, myself and Dan, the English woodsman, we're going to be hot tent camping. Perfect weather for it. And it's a new tent for me, the Naturehike Massif. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'll know I've been using a TP style hot tent. Now, as much as I love it, it's a bit cumbersome for a chap of my size to get in and out of. And once you're away from the centre, the steep sides, it's a little bit annoying. So over the summer I've been looking at many hot tents, and one kept coming up, which was the Naturehike Massif. I kept putting myself off it. It's a nature hike, you know, it's just a cheap copy. However, after much deliberation I ended up with it, so we're going to take a look at that tonight. I've not set it up before, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything down to the area where myself and Dan are camping, get it all set up, and give you guys a quick look at it, because we are chasing the light a little bit. As you can see, past the snow and the buildings, that sun is very low in the sky. We're just on the outskirts of Bradford, and we're just going to be camping down in this area here. Dan's very lucky to have secured this area for use over the winter. Right, I'm going to get all my stuff down there, get it all set up, and let's have a look at the new hot tent. The light really is starting to fade now, but I've got the tent up, and I have most definitely made the right choice. You can see it's semi-geodesic, so you've got a pole going from corner to corner, corner to corner, and then one looping round from the centre round the back. 3 guy lines either side. Under here is the hole for the chimney of the stove. Got a pole that goes over the centre just to hold these sides up. Snow skirts all the way around. This front is also a door, and it's got a bug net inside, so you can lift this front up and have it as an awning, and if there's loads of flies around you can sit inside and still enjoy the views. At the back there is also a door, and inside here, I'll show you in a minute, is room for your boots. You can see in there the vestibule is huge. There's definitely going to be enough room for me to sit in my chair by the stove and keep warm without that blinking centre pole getting in the way. There you go, you can see the mesh there on the inside of that front door. Two men or 2 people at a squeeze inside the bug net, and you can see just the other side there is another zip door on the bug mesh, so you can get in and out the other side as well as using it as boot storage. Very happy. Obviously I've not got the stove set up just yet, but as we're losing the light so quickly, I wanted to give you guys a quick look around the Naturehike Massif. That now gives me time to get everything inside and set up. By then it's probably going to be dark, so it'll be time to get the stoves going. But just before we set all the stoves up and everything like that, we're going to have a quick look at Dan's tent, because this is a beast. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Russian bear.
It is a bear.
How many doors has it got on it, Dan?
2.
2 doors.
Aye.
It's got a solid outer door.
Well, it's like a spring. It's like on a spring catch, whatever you call it.
Oh, look at that.
And the other door's just like this material, so you pick which one you want your main door on.
I've got you.
And you tuck it under like that.
Yeah. and it's by RBM Outdoors. But this camera is at head height. Look how high that is. So yeah, Dan's just on with
still
setting it all up right, but you can see it's got all these pegging out points and everything. Yeah, I like the look of that. Right, time to get the rest of the gear in the tent, get the stove set up, and then it is most definitely food time for sure. Well, I'm finally all set up, and very quickly with this tent I know I've made the right decision. As you can see, I'm sat in my chair inside the tent. I've got plenty of room above my head, and I'm not even in the centre. Plenty of room for my feet facing towards my sleeping area. You can see there I've got my Sunblesser bivy light using the magnet to hold it up on the mesh of the sleeping area. If I look outside the tent door, which is still open, you'll maybe just be able to see some glinting lights of Bradford. But obviously with using the action cam, that doesn't pick up the light very well. But we have got the stove going. Look at this. Now you will notice that that is a different stove to what I usually use in my One Tigris iron wall. As you can see, this one's got glass on the side as well as the front. When I was talking about getting a new hot tent, and it was going to be a bigger tent, Dan the English Woodsman's very kindly given me this stove. He says he's got plenty of stoves, more than he needs, so he's kindly gifted me this. So not only a big thank you to Dan for gifting me the stove, but also for bringing me to this location. It's a private area that's owned by a private landlord that Dan's got permission to go to, and he's kindly brought me along. So Dan, you are the man. And even with the door open of the tent, that stove is giving off more than enough heat. With just having my trainers on and traipsing about in the snow, I've got wet feet, so hopefully it'll A, warm them up, and B, dry them out. I'm just going to wait for that stove to get going properly, and then I'm going to start to cook some food. Beef stir fry tonight with noodles, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm starting to get a bit peckish. And if I delve into my little box of tricks, despite it being cold and snowy, I do have a few cold beverages. Once again, 0% alcohol. This time it's Heineken. And I'm really looking forward to having a couple of those with my food. At the moment there's not really much else to show you, so the camera's going to go down whilst this stove warms up, and I'll bring you back for some good old-fashioned home-cooked cooking inside a tent on a stove. Well, that stove is now cooking good and proper. I've shut the door behind me and the heating here is unreal. I've took my hat off, but I've still got my jacket on. That is coming off soon. You can see just how rosy my cheeks are. I've changed to filming on the phone just to make sure, even though I've got my light hanging up in here, I just wanted to make sure that the footage was as good as possible for you. Like I said before, the action cam doesn't pick up low light very well at all. Yeah, as you can see, that stove is now going very well indeed. Let's get some tea on. And that is tea tonight. So we've got some diced beef, we've got some stir-fried vegetables, and I've added some cashew nuts in there, and we've got an Asda's spicy and tangy sweet chili sauce, and right here we've got some straight to wok noodles. So all this should be ready fairly quickly. I'm going to say about 15 minutes this should be all done. First of all, you get the beef in. It's got a nice little sizzle on almost immediately. So we're just going to give that a stir around, let that get browned off, and then we'll add the rest of the stuff in. And that's the meat browned off perfectly. It's just been simmering in a little bit of olive oil. Time for the veg and the nuts. Oh, this is going to be good. That's the noodles in now. I'll just give that a quick stir about. 5 minutes and should be done. And that is stir-fried spicy chili beef with noodles, done and ready to eat. No point making more washing up. She's just going to get eaten straight out the pan. Wow. That is done to perfection. That stove really is kicking up some heat now. It really is. As you can see, the jacket's off. I'm unzipping. I'm layering off. Hot. Cheers, everyone. Just what the doctor ordered. Right, I'm going to get myself away and finish my food. And either Dan's going to come over here or I'm going to go over there to spend the rest of the night. So if there's any crack worthwhile showing you, I'll bring you back then. Mr. Dan, the English woodsman, are you in? I think it's actually starting to snow as well. I've just got back from seeing Dan, and I was originally going to show you the inside of Dan's tent, but I think it only right that I'll leave you with a little bit of a teaser of walking over to it. That tent with that stove that Dan's got, trust me, is something else. It was like a sweat box in there, and that stove, I've never seen anything like it before. It's like a miniature version of a proper log burning stove like what I've got at home. That thing is amazing. And Dan's done the same. So Dan said in his video that I've got my new tent and that. So yeah, if you want to see Dan's tent on the inside, you go and check his video out. When I got back to mine, the stove had gone out, so I've got it lit and it's just starting to build up a nice bit of temperature. Look how much room I've got. That stove's doing really well. Tactical duck's just about asleep. If you know, you know. Also, for those of you that are wondering about the stove, I always bring a carbon monoxide alarm with me, just in case something does go wrong. And I like to place my carbon monoxide alarm right by where I'm sleeping. As I've already mentioned in the video, I'm really happy with this new tent, the Naturehike Massif. I've been looking for a new hot tent for a while, and this tent kept popping up, and I just kept telling myself, no, it's a Naturehike, it can't be that good. And it really is. It really is. I've not been sent this tent for free. I've paid for this with my own money. It was £250. I'm not going to go into an in-depth review just yet. I want to use it a few times first, get completely used to it. But off the top of my head, I can't remember the hydrostatic heads, but I'll pop it up on screen now, the hydrostatic head for the fly sheet and the ground sheet, just to give you an idea. But I will be doing a full review of it very soon. Obviously I need a bit more daylight for that. But if you guys are looking for a hot tent and you're not keen on the TP style tents, then this tent is most definitely for you. And another thing that I have noticed is that because the flue pipe goes out of the tent higher up, it's a lot more stable. That flue pipe is a lot more stable in the wind. It barely moves at all. I did have to buy myself some more tent pegs because you don't get enough with it to peg it out properly. You know, you're pegging out all the snow skirts and everything, so you need at least another 10, maybe even 15 pegs. Well, like I say, if you guys are looking for a hot tent and this is within your budget, then so far this tent comes highly recommended. I'm absolutely full as a gun after my tea. Dan was cooking something amazing as well, and I couldn't have even tried a bite of it. I am absolutely stuffed. So for now, I'm just gonna get this fire nice and warm. I'm gonna enjoy a cold beer, and then I'm gonna get my head down and have a good night's sleep. Now, we do have a storm coming in the early hours of the morning, somewhere between 4 and 6. The winds are going to start to pick up and the rain is coming in. However, it's cold, so when that rain hits the cold air, there's a possibility that we could get some snow. So the morning is not going to be very pleasant at all. So there is a good chance that I'm going to be up and away early. So for now, enjoy the slow motion of my new log burning stove, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Wow, it's a cold one this morning. It really is. Obviously it was nice and toasty warm last night when I went to bed, and just lying in my sleeping bag I could see the glow off the glass on the fire. It was great. I've missed hot tent camping, but as we're not hanging around this morning, obviously I had to let the fire go out. Consequently, it's cold. If Storm Burt wasn't imminently due to hit, I'd have been staying around a bit. I'd have lit the fire, got myself warmed up, had a coffee and such. But as already forecast, we've had a couple of little showers. I don't know whether that was rain or snow. I've not been brave enough to open the tent door yet. But I think it sounded like snow. It was quite light. But at the moment, nothing, no wind or anything. But that is due to change very shortly. So I've got a sandwich in the car. I'm not having breakfast in the tent this morning. I've got a sandwich in the car. My main concern is we've got 2 to 3 hours of heavy winds and snow coming, so that is most definitely gonna affect my 2.5 hour drive home, and I don't want to get caught out. Dan's obviously still asleep at the moment, so I am gonna make a start on getting my tent in order and getting a few things back to the car in order to get a hasty retreat. Obviously it's pitch black outside as well, so what I'll do is I'll get myself sorted and I'll bring you back in the car to sign the video off properly. As you can see, it's snowing pretty hard. I've managed to get myself all packed up and everything back in the car. There's no sign of life from Dan, which is not unexpected as it is only 5:45 in the morning. Apologies, Dan. I was trying to get in the car. I thought, I'm not going to sit here with the engine running. I'll just sit here nice and quiet. Car didn't like that, and bloody car alarm went off, didn't it? So sorry, Dan. As always, there'll be a link to Dan's channel in the description. If for some bizarre reason you subscribe to me but not to Dan, please do me a favour, go and check him out. Hit that thumbs up, give him a subscribe. He's an absolute diamond of a bloke, proper down to earth. He is exactly how he comes across on his YouTube channel. And with that in mind, thanks Dan for letting me have that stove. It's slightly bigger than the one I've got, and it's got glass on the side as well as the front. Honestly, mate, I can't thank you enough. And for inviting me down here for my first hot tent camp of the season. I hope all you guys that have been watching have enjoyed it. It's just a little bit of a shame we're chasing the light a little bit, but you've got a good look at the Naturehike Massif hot tent, and for my first time in it, I honestly couldn't be any happier. I really couldn't. I think I've spent my money really wisely there. Over the evening we had some pretty stiff winds and it was rock solid. I wouldn't say it was anything substantial. I wouldn't really want to take a hot tent out in any substantial wind, but certainly a lot sturdier than my One Tigris Iron Wall, that is for sure. I will put a link in the description to various places you can buy the Massif. It does vary in price from high £100, 180, 190 pound ish, up to 400, but I bought mine for 250, which included all postage, package, shipping costs, everything, and I thought that was the best deal for me. But as I've already said in the video, if you are looking for a hot tent, Naturehike Massif, big time. I'm still just sat in the car, just waiting for Dan, and this snow is getting pretty bad where we are. I'm really not looking forward to the drive home in this. That is pretty bad. Wow, it got worse than that last clip. A lot worse. Dan, I've just spoke to, and he's still in his tent, cooking food. He's got the fire on. He's stuck, he can't get out of the area where we were staying. I set off at 7:08. It took me till 9:30 to get to Skipton, and it's just turned 11 o'clock now. So 8 minutes short of 4 hours to get home, and it only took me 2¼ hours to get down there. That is some of the worst driving conditions that I've been in for a long time. Going through Bradford, the roads were just choked. Solid ice and snow. My sat-nav was sending me up roads that even with the 4-wheel drive that I've got wouldn't have got up. Once I got past Skipton, it wasn't too bad. There was still a bit of snow and sleet about, but it was mainly rain. But there was so much water on the road, and that was the same on the motorway until I hit Shap. White. There's not much here where I am now, but not but 2 miles away from here, it's still a complete whiteout. So anyways, I just thought I'd let you know that I got home safe. Back to me at camp to sign the video off properly. Thank you guys very much for joining me on this one. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as Dan and I have. So once again, until next time, stay safe, much love from a Cumbrian lad.